That's a function of the carnal mind. The carnal mind is always looking for some external principle it can grab onto to try to bring forth life.
Yes, sir.
Around every turn.
Yeah.
But the mind of Christ does not think that way. The mind of Christ says, there's a truth that I can behold. And that truth was made flesh in Jesus and was poured out on all flesh through the Holy Spirit. And if I can sit and just fellowship with that truth by hearing it, that truth will animate my whole spirit, soul, and body with life. That truth will guard my heart. That truth will discern all things. That truth, right, will do something to me. That truth will do me. I will not do that truth. And we tend to look on what the truth will bring forth and then try to do the fruit. Right? That's what we tend to try to do. We look at what the truth can bring forth, and then we want to do the fruit. We try to come at it backwards. Right? For instance, we see Jesus. When Jesus would rise up in the morning and go off to fellowship with God every day. We look at what he did, and then we try to work what he did in order to bring forth a life. Instead of seeing Jesus beheld the truth, and that truth dwelled in him, and that truth gave birth to him wanting to go sit with the Father every day in fellowship. Right? He didn't see, I see there's a principle that if I can sit with the Father every day, then I'll have life. He didn't say that. What he did was he heard the Spirit of truth. He heard the voice of the Father declaring a truth to him about life and where life is from and who God is as Abba and what Abba thinks of his life. And what that truth did to him is it welled up inside of him and caused him to feel overwhelming joy at the thought of hanging out with Abba. So every day he was going to hang out with Abba because he loved hanging out with Abba. It wasn't because he says, well, by this principle of hanging out with Abba, then I'll have life. That's not what he said. He found that Abba brought forth so much joy in his heart that he found his heart yearning for Abba. You know, like when I was working out, my heart yearned for working out. When I was a little kid, innocently running, I yearned to run, right? I didn't look at some outward principle that said, well, man, by running, I'll be in great shape, and that will give me life and help me to be healthy. No, I was just running because I loved it, right? Do you see the difference? Do you see how we try to come at it backwards instead of seeing that the truth gives birth to something? And that really spawned the whole what would Jesus do thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, and that's what happened in the Garden of Eden, is Adam saw the fruit of God's life, and instead of saying there's a truth that will animate my life with this fruit, he said, I'm going to use my ability to bring forth that fruit. And that's kind of what we've done with the gospel. And see, what we're getting into now is what the gospel is always supposed to have been about. Preaching, what did Jesus believe? What did Jesus see in the scriptures? What did Jesus see when he read the scriptures? What did he believe? Right? Because what happens is that's the truth that animated his life. And so when we can begin talking about the truth that animated his life, the thing that Jesus believed, then we're beholding what he beheld. And then it's doing to us the same thing it did to Jesus. So Jesus beheld a word. He saw a word. He heard a word. That word persuaded his heart of something. And then that word that he saw about God, about himself, and the life and fellowship he was created for in the Godhead was made flesh in him, so that we could see the same word. And then that word could do something to us, right? And that word is about what did Jesus believe, right? And so it's not what would Jesus do, it's what did Jesus believe. Because what Jesus said, I've done nothing of myself. He said it over and over and over again. When they came and called him good, what did he say? No, one is good, the Father. What is he saying there? You see, we'd all find it blasphemous if someone sat in the Bible study and tried to say, no, Jesus wasn't good, the Father was good. What do you mean? No, Jesus was good. And why do we say Jesus was good? We say, because he loved perfectly. Because he was kind all the time. We say that's why Jesus was good. But if we had come to Jesus and said that, he would have said, there's one who's good, it's the Father. Nothing that you see come out of me has come forth from my own ability, it's come forth from the Father. Right? And so then we'd be like, it's the Father. And then Jesus could elaborate, the Father has said something to me. And I find that what the Father has said is giving me life, man. And I feel so much life that I've come to declare to you the same thing the Father's declared to me.
Now, let me ask you a question.